So when you say we'll do anything, you mean anything.
Anything, man.
Oh, anything. Oh,
Anything.
no, no,
So,
make it
and
stop.
hey guys, how you doing? Just
So great news, everybody. There's some kind of issue with my camera. Well, it's not great news for everybody because I know seeing my handsome face is something that people look forward to. But sadly, yeah, there's some kind of issue. I hate my Mac today and yesterday. But I think this iOS 27 is just around the corner, and I think the Macs will inch ever closer to being a big iPad.
you reckon? Nah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Nah. The Mac is too powerful for that, man. Like, yeah, the amount of stuff. Obviously, now the it's a model. It's a AI model embedded into the Mac now.
Yeah, because they went to Google, didn't they? Because Google pay Apple something like fucking 100 billion a year, right? So that Google
Hmm.
is the default search engine on Macs. And then Apple went to Siri and said we need a Gemini. Sorry, they went to Gemini and said we need a harness for Siri because she doesn't work. So this iOS 27 is finally meant to be that.
No, I mean a local model.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
me. I'm the local
yeah.
AI. I feed the
A-
computer.
it's interesting, a local model that actually just runs without internet, without anything to understand your machine. I think the new iOS is going to be interesting because it's live now. It's just not that smart, but that's what everything is heading, local models and things like that. So who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows whether AI is going to take his in the future? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, anyway,
Hello,
hey,
Michael.
how you
So,
guys doing today?
if you're talking about APIs, Michael, then it's probably something to do with FinRev. So you would need to speak with support. If it is FinRev, you could go into the FinRev group and you could get the help stuff there. So up to you which way you go on that. All right.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to okay. So let's talk about markets and everything, right? Let's talk about what's going on. So Ian, do you have anything interesting to say about Bitcoin, about crypto? First of all, how you guys feel about crypto today? Obviously, I think today's new month, so I have I have interesting expectations. We're getting closer to Q4 and Q3, so there's going to be interesting things. How do you feel, guys? How do you feel? How do you feel, Ian, about crypto?
Well, I feel that we've still yet to have the final leg down. And I'm basing that on the levels of retracement since Bitcoin has existed. We've
Right.
retraced in these bear market years on average, 50%. So we've currently retraced only around about 30%. And whilst these are big, crude numbers, it's funny how they kind of always seem to fit. Because if you look at that, say, extra 20% that's to go, it takes you to some of the natural kind of levels in Bitcoin, around the sort of 49, which is around the next bit of the structure. I'm not imagining, even though I don't know, I'm not imagining $19,000 Bitcoin. I'm not imagining that. But I think into the 40s, I think is what I'm expecting. And again, that's a very big target. So I'm expecting more downside. I just don't think we've had enough. And I
Mhm.
think that the high 40s is my kind of somewhere around here.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We'll go through the charts. Todd mentioned something important. Yeah, the Clarity Act. It's kind of in trouble. So yeah, that was a huge sort of it is a huge sort of development in terms of fundamentals in crypto, right? among all the stuff that we talked about last week in terms of liquidity, like all the liquidity that is being pulled from crypto towards all the stocks, right? All the more interesting propositions out there, right? I do have some stocks for you guys if you are interested. There's some, I think it's good stuff in stock right now, man. Like, so probably that's why I'm looking somewhere else so if I'm looking somewhere else, institutions, people, liquidity goes where the money flows sort of is at the moment, right? So I think that could be a play. That's so based on that, maybe we might have that pullback, like that drop again, in terms of crypto. That's why I decided to close a lot of the positions, take the risk out on Friday. Yeah. Yeah, which by the way, I think the end of the month crypto trade, which is shorting anything, I think is really possible. If the market is actually pumping up, it's always a retracement on at the last day of the month. So that could be an interesting play to backtest fully, right? How do you execute all this sort of stuff? But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment, right? Let me go through the chart. Let me just share my screen and start seeing what we have. I don't have much, but I do have a few interesting things that I'm watching. Uh, yeah, market has been very boring last week in a way, right? All right, sorry. Let's start with Bitcoin. So this is the line that we drew last week, right? This is kind of like a trend sort of deal. And on Friday, funny enough, 31st of July, we broke that trend line, right? So you can actually see the market structure is not looking good from the daily perspective. It's sort of, we have a sell-off. This is Sunday's price action. So yesterday, it was still 2 days basically, right? We still have 45 minutes to close. So it doesn't look that great, right? From the price action perspective, this is daily. And if we look at the weekly, oh yeah, thank you, Jim. So yeah, that's because it's the 1st of August. So, let me go back to the daily. Yeah, this is, I don't know, Saturday is the 1st of August, but this is Friday, 31st of July. That's what you mean? Anyway, coming through. So structurally speaking, it looks better towards the downside. Definitely, right? Like this is, unless we start climbing back this, where's my pen? Where's my pen? I always lose my pen. Right here. Okay. Unless we climb back this area right here, which is the 63,600, give or take, right? Right? And start climbing back. But again, we're very close to this huge resistance. Huge resistance. You can actually see, yeah, we talked, I don't know if you guys watched my video on Friday. Several times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a way that we try to break that. That what that means is there is a lot of selling in this area. So that was my base case. Where is my, give me 1 second. That was my best case on Friday, right? So Friday, right? Why I decided to actually close a lot of stuff, right? So that was Friday. Funny enough, like probably like 2 hours after that everything crashed. Interesting. So how happy that I did that, but let me tell you why. So we were sort of right here on Friday, give or take, right? Everything was sort of pulling in terms of CVD. So CVD looked pretty strong, but price didn't react to CVD, right? What that means is more than likely that's another thing in terms of rating the CVD versus price action versus open interest. So you could see that the open interest, CVD was rising, but the price wasn't reacting. What that means in my head, or think about it from the perspective, a lot of people buying, but price doesn't react. What that means is probably is a lot of shorts absorbing that movement, right? And what happens is the market becomes really fragile. So that becomes like the war, right? Between bulls and bears, right? And at any moment that these guys, the CBD starts to sell, market is going to, bears are going to win. The shorts are going to win. And that's basically what happened here, right? How far that rabbit hole goes, who knows? That's one of the things that we cannot actually predict. I cannot actually predict. If you do have a way to predict, that's great. Let me know. But then I don't know if that's going to go 62, 61, 60. The only thing that I can say is that we might have a little bit of a drop, right? So that's the decision why we started closing take some profits, end of the month. A lot of Confluent things that I didn't like. So that's basically why we did what we did. So in terms of the positions, right, that we hold at the moment, right? So Ondo, we took some profit and we put the stop break even. Like we took some profit probably around here. And we have the stop loss at break even. So what that means is whatever happens, right? If this has continuation, we're gonna get stopped out on the remaining, and then I'm planning to get into this one again, right? When? Who knows? When the market sort of recovers. Lit, same thing. We took some profit around here and moved the stop loss, so we're very well protected here. But I want to add more on this one. WorldCoin, I haven't done anything. We'll still have half of the position with the stop loss right here. So we're still covered on that one. The one that we took out on a little bit of a loss was XPL. So XPL, so this one got stopped out, and this one, this position I had right here for a while. I decided to close it just to minimize the risk. So that's kind of what happened, right? Like to give you a summary of why was the decision behind it, right? And now, are we going to have lower, or is this sort of the bounce? Give me your thoughts. What are you guys thinking? Okay, Todd said descending wedge, which is classically raised as bullish. We shall see. All right, descending wedge in which time frame? So we'll have a look. Besides that, anyone else? Do you think Bitcoin, this is going to be the level to hold, or this is going to be the level to bounce, or are we going to range? On the daily, okay. All right, Jim, no idea. Anyone else? Wait for 60. Okay. 60 is in the cards, definitely. I could see it from the price action perspective. So what I'm tracking right now is how, but let me just delete this. All right. What's the behavior of this CVD, right? So this CVD right here, you can actually see that we have a lot of selling pressure. I want to see CVD rising at important levels. So where are the levels that I'm watching? Give me 1 second. Why this is okay. Okay. So if you match this right here, this area is where the main liquidations, the downside happen, right? Right here. That's liquidity right here. Okay. So that could be a lot of longs that actually start rising from here. So that becomes an interesting level for shorts to hunt. What that means is we might see a little bit of 62, right? So in order to liquidate these guys here, right, people that actually went long on here, you need to go a little bit lower than that. So 62 seems to be an interesting play, right? If you want a short, right? It looks like structurally, it looks like that. CBD is not telling me anything, even though it looks a little bit like it looks strong from that perspective, right? Looks a little bit stronger. But you see all these massive sell-offs, right? Which is, yeah, I'm not yeah, I'm not sold yet in terms of strength, right? So that's basically what I'm seeing at the moment. This liquidation happened on the 31st of July, right? So it's the last day of the month. So we'll see how the new month sort of plays out. Obviously, today is the first day on the month on like Asia session, basically. So we'll see what happens in the New York stock. So let's see if these guys are able to lift anything. In terms of what happens on fundamentals, so we have FOMC, we have Bank of Japan rates decisions as well. All the stuff went okay. They like this, no, they didn't increase anything, so that's why market didn't move as much. But it did not give any indication that is still out of the woods in terms they're still thinking to raise interest rates on September. So that will be another hold off for a month in a way, right? From the Asian session perspective. So yeah, in terms of fundamentals, I don't have anything, to be honest. There's nothing, there's no good or bad or anything. It's just nothing there to give us that bump. You know what I mean? That indication that, oh, I want to buy right now. This is the time to buy right now. So I do agree with Ian in terms that we might see a little bit of a leg down. So if we do, right, possible levels to hold liquidity will be probably this one, 61,300. This is this one. Like it's if you look at this from this perspective, what is my right here? All right, I'm looking at that area right there, and the reason why is because you see that from July, actually, this is from the beginning of July, right? This is where the main sort of liquidity started. So a deviation from here could send us to the fuel to break that $65,000. Or can we drive from here? Just don't see. I could be wrong, definitely, but I don't think that we're going to rise it from here. Market still looks pretty weak to, you know what I mean, to launch from here and break that 65,000. I could be completely wrong. If I see like that's one option. The other option that I'm seeing is if we start reclaiming this area right here, right, which is the 64,000, maybe buyers are going to pile up there and that's going to fuel us. So those are the two sort of areas that I'm looking in terms of buying. All right. So yeah, I agree, Todd. Bumpy, very fucking bumpy, man. It's nothing, you know, but we know that on the break of 65, I think things are going to get really, really, at least we're going to get this mean reversion play all the way up to 72, give or take, right? That's kind of something that we do know. But we can get caught up on this sort of behavior, right? A lot of shorts around here. So that's kind of where we at, the market that we have at the moment. Now, so I'm even like anything could happen, to be honest. In terms of S&P 500, let's have a look what's going on. So S&P 500 is still good, right? Still bouncing okay. VIX is sort of coming back to normal. So it looks okay. Now we have a new month, new sort of outlook, right? So I'll be watching. Russell now is picking up, right? The NAS 100 is picking up as well. So things are picking up, right? Is that going to be long-term continuation, or is this just a mechanical bounce, right? That's kind of the thing that I'm trying to sort of answer based on the data, but it's too early, right? We just have the first day right now. It could get really, really pumpy. Great for scalping, of course, right? I think for this week, if you're scalping, I think there's definitely opportunities there. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. In terms of Ethereum, so everything is pretty much the same, and Ethereum, BNB, Solana, they all have the same structure. So I'm just watching Bitcoin to see if we start breaking that structure, then more than likely everything will follow, right? So I'm not, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, that's kind of where we at. So what are we looking for new positions? So obviously I'm looking to add on all this, right? All the ones that we still hold. But I want to show you something interesting. I want to show you Uni. So I'm looking at Uni. So Uni is been just driving. So the funny thing about Uni could get really funny, but what I wanted to see is what's driving the price of Uni. So Uni and Robinhood, right? So Robinhood is actually basically Uni is the main market maker for Robinhood to buy anything that you buy through Robinhood on all the meme coins, all this stuff that Robinhood is doing is going to be execute is the main executor is actually Uni, and they burn in tokens, right? And fees and all this sort of stuff. So I think this is the only play that I'm looking very seriously in terms of long-term sort of holding. Okay. Why? I'm not long-term. I'm talking about like probably in the next month or so, because you do have now the liquidity coming through from Robinhood. So let me show you. So you have this, and I'll show you something that is actually so Uniswap is actually doing a lot of different interesting thing on chains, but then the main one that is driving the price right now is actually Robinhood. And Robinhood launched a platform called Bonds, right? So this is meme stuff. This like take it, with a grain of salt. This is stuff that you can, this is the same sort of mechanism of what was it, Pump? That, you launch a meme and then they graduate, and then now after the graduation it goes into the chain per se, and then it becomes more valuable and shit like that, right? So this is a lot of stuff, but it's driving volume, it's driving liquidity, right? And the fact that now people could just buy anything on the Robinhood app is just nuts in a way. Like anyone could actually just buy $10, $20 worth of this, so that provides liquidity. And that the execution, the one that's doing the execution long term is Uni, right? So Uni is being driven by that liquidity at this moment. If that dies, then I don't know if Uni will have continuation towards the upside, but so far they just started releasing a new thing. You can actually buy the Pons itself coin, right? And it's being launched in Pons USDT. Let's see. Bybit, no, Bybit doesn't have it. Only Mexi, LBank, Wix. So you can buy it on chain. Definitely, you can buy it on the Robinhood chain. But this might fuel Uni moving forward, right? So that becomes an interesting play, right? That becomes an interesting play that we can perhaps do something like this, right? So I'm watching. This is the only one that I'm watching very closely because I do like it. And if we do have continuation, Uni is a really good protocol. It's been around for ages, and now it does have that liquidity. It has the infrastructure. It has a lot of interesting things to offer that market. So that could be an interesting, the only one that I'm kind of looking for, that it might have narrative, it might have volume, it might have liquidity, and it's doing great. This is like all eyes on Uni at this moment. So besides that, guys, I have nothing else, to be honest, in terms of crypto. I did promise that I was going to give you some stocks in terms of things that I'm watching. And my favorite is MU. That's Micron Technology. So Micron is just chip manufacturer, right? And look at this thing, man. Since April 2026, this thing went nuts. So this is what I mean. I mean 300% in Nasdaq, right? This is kind of the boom that we are on some of the technology stocks and AI stocks, and that's why I think there's better options out there. Think about think about it from the perspective of an investor or equity firm. Would you rather buy Bitcoin or would you rather buy Micron Technology, which is a they manufacture chips, they manufacture, so which one would you rather buy? Hello? I'm still, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and
Oh
clear,
yeah. Oh
Michael.
yeah. Oh, okay. So which one you rather buy? You rather buy from a equity, from a institutional perspective, would you rather buy companies like Micron or Google or Meta instead of buying bonds or fucking Uni even or Bitcoin or Ethereum? Which one do you think is more attractive? And this one went 300% the last year. Only this one, right? Yeah, definitely. Right. So that's where the liquidity is going, man. So we have really good stocks right now that are pulling back. One is Micron, another one is SanDisk. You all know SanDisk, right? Same deal. Why SanDisk is going hot? SanDisk is you guys should all know SanDisk, right? Should at least you have a USB memory from SanDisk. There you go. So this is good propositions, right? These are companies that they've been around, and this is kind of why the liquidity is moving away from crypto. Envis, I'm looking at Envis as well, which is a interesting stock as well. Meta, for instance, still interesting in my view, right? And is pulling back quite a bit. But I did talk about this one last stream. Still looking to buy this one. Very, very interesting proposition. So you do have all these type of stocks that it could do really well long term, and it's a different proposition. It's different risk. So you're buying a piece of company. So I think my favorite is of course Micron and SanDisk. I think SanDisk is a is a memory manufacturer. What's the whole thing right now in terms of memory and AI? Man, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but this is not sort of uh yeah, same thing. So this is the AI boom in terms of all the infrastructure, and I think that will continue. So yeah, 300% in the last year. I think it could do even better than that, this type of company, especially Micron. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think that's the only thing. Uh, yeah, SanDisk was the top shot, and still, yeah, SanDisk is doing a lot of development of memory for AI. So even though um, it's a consumer grade company, they doing a lot of things in the background for AI consumption for memory, and that's the biggest thing right now for any model, anything for any fucking computer, all memory, AI, RAM is going to go nuts. It's still going nuts, right? So yeah. Um, yeah, that's it, guys. I think I don't have anything else. Let's see how this week goes. Obviously, the first is the first week. But besides that, those are my main picks at the moment. Yeah, I'm not interested to do anything else yet. Right, going nuts on Bitcoin or nuts. Let's see how we go. Let's see how we go this week. Let's see if this market have a little bit of confluence.
I got a question for you, Maurizio. My
Yeah,
camera's still not working. So,
shoot.
what's your definition of a swing trade? Because I've been looking into this lately, and obviously I
Mm.
need to come to my own definition. And when I say definition of a swing trade, right? It's like you could first say, well, it's quite easy from there to there. That's a swing trade.
Yeah.
But, but then there's different types of swing trade. Like there's a macro swing trade. If you wanted to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and catch that huge kind of breakout.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, well, does this mean that a swing trade is A, bi-directional, and B, does it have to last a specific amount of time for it to be a swing trade? Like, when would a scalp become a swing?
Great fucking question, man.
All
All right.
right.
Here's my take. This is only my take and only my take, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And this is the thing. A lot of people say, oh, I'm doing swing trading or yeah, but what's that definition? All right. So my definition of swing trade is first of all, it has to fit into higher time. It's a higher time frame trade. What that means is you make the decisions either on a weekly or on a daily, and you don't get up, and you don't forget up, even a monthly, right? And you don't even look at the charts or on anything at all. Why? The purpose of a swing trade is a swing trade, right? Is to hold something for several weeks or months, in my opinion, right? Why? You want to sort of manage that position accordingly, right? That's the other thing. How do you execute a swing trade? So first we go into the definition, and my definition is you look into high conviction, higher time frames, week and daily. You don't go even lower than that. You could go lower for execution, right? You can go into the 4 hour or 6 hour for executing your swing trade. And then in terms of holding, right? That's why I'm not really great on swing trading, because obviously you have to hold and you have to have a different thesis of why you're holding that trade, right? So um, that's basically my definition, right? So usually what people look into a swing trade is either, these bounces, right? Let's say you swing trade in Bitcoin, right? And you go into the daily or even weekly, right? So what you want to look for is you want to look for to the main sort of areas, right? Like the 200 EMA, things like that, those massive pullbacks, so for instance, if you get down to 52,000, then that will be an interesting swing trade. Why? Because you need to hold it. Now, what it becomes really tricky is how do you execute it? How far will that go? How you split your position, right? Because obviously a swing trade, because you're looking at higher time frames, your risk has to be wider, right? You don't know if when we get to this point is going to probably at some point touch the 44 or the 40 or the 36 or the 32. You don't know, but you're on that trade, right? So it becomes very tricky to execute on leverage, because you either need to quantify per se what's the worst case scenario in terms of going 44 or 40 and then split your position into several things, right? Into several sort of bullets, right? Or it gets tricky to start reading the market, or you basically, wait for a formation like this happens and then you go all in, but you need to put your stop loss probably below this or to execute that swing trade, right? So that's the definition for me of what swing trade is all about. Just higher time frames, and then you execute on 4 or 6 hours tops,
Hmm.
and that's it.
Awesome. What an absolutely fantastic and thorough response.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day I'll be able to give a response like that. But wow, okay. All
Have
right.
you have you asked Fable, Opus, or any AI model what's swing trade?
No, I've told you, Maurizio, I'm bored of
Yeah.
the AI now. I'm bored of it. I've kicked it. I've had enough. I've kicked it to the curb. I've rinsed it. I beat it. I had a game of poker against it and I beat it. I thought this is, anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
actually going to end the call just a little bit early and try restarting my machine before YFM. See if I
Right.
can get things going again.
Yeah,
So
that's
great
cool.
call, everybody. Yeah, thank you, Adam. And any questions like that, whilst you've got access to Maurizio, get them cleared up in your head. And just remember that Maurizio's going to repeat things to you, right? He's going to say to you, okay, what does that mean? Like if you claim anything or make a statement, oh, I'm going to swing trade Maurizio. Okay, Ian, what does that mean?
I know, right? I know. Sometimes, yeah, it's just understanding those concepts in your head, whatever it is for you. Because, yeah, whatever you guys do,
Mhm.
understand it. Make sure that you make sense for you. That's it.
Nice. Look forward to the updates. See you in the group. Todd, no more with Marlon. All right. No more handbags. I see you too. I see you. All right.
All
Ta-ra, everybody.
right, guys, have a good one.